Hello team, today's challenge is Pig Latin Converter, where we're given a string and we need to convert it to Pig Latin. The rules of which are, if it begins with a vowel, we leave it as is and just add way. And if it begins with consonant, we move the consonants to the end and then add a. So it's, instead of hello, it's L-O-A, L-O-Hey, sorry. My tongue flipped over in my mouth there. And then, of course, there's a little thing around capitals. So if it started with a capital, it should continue to start with a capital, which might work against us in the long run. I'll explain why in a few seconds here. But getting into this, I feel like the easiest way is just to operate on each individual word, take it as is, and then do something. But I don't want to break this apart and loop over it. So instead, we're going to use regular expressions, right? So over here, that looks like this, where we can go RE equals this. We're going to do it as global and case insensitive. I'm not sure if the case insensitive is actually needed for this, but it doesn't hurt. So I'm going to do that. And then we are going to do a range. Okay, and that range is going to be all of the consonants. And that's very important. Notice that I didn't say any word that is not a vowel. I specifically said anything that is a consonant because I don't want to capture numbers. I don't want to capture spaces. I don't want to capture anything that is not a vowel. I only want to capture consonants, right? So to that end, to save me from typing, I have this. This is all of the consonants from B to Z. So I have B, C, D, F, G, H, J to N. That's a range, right? The dash is a range. So J to N, P to T, and V to Z, right? And I want to capture that. So first off, I'm going to get as many of those as possible, right? For words like the, we have the T and the H. We want to get them both, move them to the end, right? But with this, I want to capture it. And the key here is that it might be empty, right? And we need to be able to declare that this group is allowed to be empty. So right here we go 0 or more, right? There are 0 or more of them. Or we could do a question mark. Both are okay, okay? So in this case, we need the second capture group. And the second capture group is anything that is a word character, right? So now we're getting the rest of the characters. It's as simple as that, right? And one or more of those, right? And we don't make this optional. We want this to capture everything. So if there are consonants, it will put those consonants into that first group until it hits a vowel, at which point the rest of the letters will go into our second group. And that's the goal here, right? To separate these so that we can move this group to the end and this group to the start, right? Basically. So down here, we do the replace, just like this. We're replacing on the regular expression and sending it into our callback, okay? First argument here is always a match, right? That's the whole match. We don't care about that. We only care about the parts. So here's part 1 and here's part 2 and sending it in, okay? At which point we can go const result, just like this. That is going to be equal to P2, right? P2, just like this. And then no space, but P1. But P1 might be undefined, right? Because we might not have done anything if we started with vowels. So with that, we want to coerce this into a W. And this is our first bit of magic, right? If we are just moving letters, then the letters go there, and then we tack AY onto the end. If the first letters are anything that is not a consonant, not a consonant, then we add the W and add AY, right? To keep all this simple, we're going to normalize it to lowercase, just like this. And we should be able to return result and see some magic, which we do. We absolutely get 1, 2, and 3 because those are all lowercase. We didn't have to worry about the casing yet, right? The 4, 5, and 6 all have capital letters somewhere. So we need to take care of those, okay? And the way that we take care of those is first we need to know if it is capitalized. So const is caps, okay? And this is going to be a regular expression that is the start, right? We don't want to find it inside. We want to find it right at the start. And what are we finding? Well, it's capital A to capital Z, okay? That should be a dash, sorry, dash Z, because it is a range, okay? At which point we test it. What are we testing? Well, we're testing P2. Again, there might, or sorry, not P2, but P1. P1 is the start. There is a chance that P1 might be undefined, but if we're testing against undefined, well, it's not going to match. It'll still be a falsy value, okay? At which point we go is, okay? So cutting this away is caps. If it is, then we capitalize like this, capitalizing result. Otherwise, we just return result, okay? Capitalize is not a thing that we've done, so let's go and do that. Right here, function, capitalize, making this a better argument. W, come on, W, just like this. Excellent, okay? What are we returning? Well, it's going to be word 0, okay? So the first character of word, and then 2 uppercase, just like this. Brilliant. And adding that to the rest of the letters, so word dot slice. My fingers are all over this keyboard today. It's so weird. Slicing from 1 to the end, okay? At which point it works, okay? And it works great. So to bring it home, we created this regular expression where we capture all the consonants at the start. Now, it'll be 0 or 1, and that is okay. If it's 0, then our argument here, P1, which is this capture group, will be undefined, and we can use that to our advantage. And then everything else comes after, and we definitely need that. So P2 will always have something, right? That's the goal here. At which point we drop into our replace. We didn't need that match, so we just underscored it. We just need part 1 and part 2. We tested if part 1 is capitalized. If it is, then we're going to do something down here, right? But before that, we move the pieces around. So part 2 becomes part 1 becomes part 2. If part 1 is undefined, we add the W, and then we finish it with a Y and send it to lowercase. Why? Because that helps us normalize that data, right? We want, most of the time, we want it all to be lowercase. So we're just going to do that. There is a small chance in here where McDonald's, as an example, will not capitalize, right? Because both the M and the first D are capitalized. And we will capture MCD, which is the McD, right? Right here, which will become our part 1, which we are lowercasing. And then up here, we're only capitalizing the very first letter of the word. So it's not a complete solution. If you need something like that, you're going to have to do just a little bit more work or have good conversations, right? That's the key, is what is the expected outcome? And with Pig Latin, well, it's there are probably some good conversations around that. So to wrap it up, we capitalized, we sent out the result, and it worked, okay? Hopefully that's all making sense. There are plenty of other ways to do this. We could have broken it all apart and looped over it, kind of in a matrixy way, right? Where we have arrays of arrays, the arrays of words, and each word is broken into its individual characters or something. Options, right? That one feels way more complicated than this. But let me know in the comments, right? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you go a different way, right? All that stuff into my comments. Again, not every solution, just hopefully one good solution. And this is today's solution for Pig Latin Converter. And I will see you tomorrow.